Gundam.tk presents Master Grade Duel Gundam Assault Shroud. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs from GundamReviews.net, and Gundam Seed, 10 years after it first aired, is back in a big way, and now fans of the bad guys can certainly have a lot to look forward to with the Master Grade line getting them all added to it, starting with the Duel Gundam with the Assault Shroud included. Early 2012 release, 4,200 yen. There's the name bar in English and down below with a lot of kanji in between, and there we can see that of course it's going to be brought to us by Bandai. Gundam Seed kicked things off with a bang with, of all things, we've never seen it before, but a Gundam jacking, and we ended up with the strike in the hands of protagonist Kira Yamato, all the bad guys getting away with their suits, including Isaac Jewel, he of the temper tantrum, in the Duel Gundam, which was certainly a great counterpart for the strike to fight against, before he came back with a whole bunch of armor added on in the form of the Assault Shroud, which actually gave Kira a run for his money for a little while. And anyway, Isaac was popular enough, he lasted through Seed and Seed Destiny, but this is certainly his most famous and memorable suit, I'd say. Around the box, we can see how they're talking about how it appeared in Gundam Seed before we're going to get to see the front view, and you can see that most of the focus is going to be on the Assault Shroud, despite the fact that they actually show both on the front. And you can see that this armor is going to really add him up, or add a whole bunch of bulk to him, while still keeping him enough similarities to the strike, including things like the shield. From the back, you can see there's thrusters there, a cool looking gun up on the shoulder, and that's what they're going to talk about here with the clear parts for the railgun there. You can see that the shoulder hatches are going to pop down for 5 consecutive missiles, and thruster vanes are going to move around in the back. And when you actually look at the weapons, there's going to be the shield, the beam sabers, the regular beam gun, and the Gay Borg, if that's what you want to call it, the linear cannon down there. And there it is, the old Duel Gundam without its armor on. It does look quite different to the strike to me, even though I seem to remember it being more similar back in the anime. But once you add all of that on, he's going to get bulked up. But the gimmicks that we should be saying with this X100 frame, which is going to be similar to a few of the other guys from Strike, we can see that the hips are going to move around, and you've got great waist articulation. Grab the beam sabers over the shoulders, including great poses, almost as good as the perfect grade strike, I wonder. Inner frame that's pretty much complete, and you're going to have 2 small figures, one for the cockpit and one standing, and markers so that you can show that this guy belongs to Zaft, as Kira should have. 10 years after, they're re-releasing Seed in HD, which is great for anime fans, and they're also going to be doing more and more comics. How many have they actually done of Seed now? Here you can see in the background the Duel Gundam there with its looking very strike-ish there, without any of the strike packs on its back. Here you can see with the beam rifle in hand and that weapon over the shoulder that it's going to look fantastic, especially with that extra armor all over the place. And then they're going to go to talk about the Master Grade planning and how they do this for Gundam Seed. Here you can see some of the concept art looking great. But for Gundam Seed fans, what better than after the Duel Gundam that we'll be getting the Buster, Strike, Blitz, and Aegis. We've already got Strike in Master Grade. I wonder if we'll get a 2.0. But we should be getting all 3 of these guys, with Blitz being next. The one that'll be of most interest to me, though, is the Aegis, and we'll see how that transforms. Inside the box, you're going to be getting an instruction manual here. Blue and gray sets of seals with a multicolored A plate. More blue, gray, light gray, dark gray beam sabers, and more gray. It's a colorful A plate here. Too bad that 2 of them are going to be identical, but that orange is looking very bright, and I think it's going to be a very nice offset with this blue, which also just seems to be a little bit darker and richer than usual. Certainly different from the strikes. Lots of clear parts down there, including full light piping there for the head, so you've got the eyes with the camera sensors there that are going to look great, and you've got this long piece, which I'm assuming is going to go into the bazookas. Small fine details throughout all of these orange parts. The A-plate was labeled the Duel Gundam, whereas this one is going to be labeled 1/100th Seed X Armor, which is sort of interesting that that's going to be there. The color is a very nice light gray, and there is another plate of this, but we can see the parts for the shield and for a lot of legs and waist, and everything is looking good so far, although you know that there's going to be a lot of remake possibilities. Same idea for the C-plate, Seed X Armor here, and you can see that you're going to have the feet and the shield part in blue. I wonder what colors we could be getting that in instead. The D-plate is ABS plastic, and it's labeled as the Seed X frame there, and you can see that these parts are probably going to be on here for the Duel, but done for a bunch of other ones. Some things that people will like and some people will hate is the whole idea that you've got a lot of different finger sets there, including a trigger finger that's awfully far away from the actual parts there from the rest of the fingers, but instead they're not going to be the 3-finger trigger finger split variety. This E-plate is also ABS X-frame here, and you can see that we're going to have some big parts there that are going to go into the inner frame, including the waist and a very impressive looking chest section with lots of little details on it, and these parts are probably going to be for the actual Assault Shroud. More ABS X-frame here, but it's just really interesting to look at how modular these parts are and how you can imagine how many of these are going to be on all of the different Seed releases. The G-plate finally brings us back to the Duel Gundam as it's labeled here. This is ABS also, and you can see that there's just even details on the insides there. So if you want to go line the inside of your armor, why not? Great looking parts there for the waist skirts, and again, just etching and details all over the place. The H is for Duel, and it's the same color that we saw on the B-plate, which is also in gray. You can see the two small Izaks there. Very nice details here on the beam sabers. You can see that it's got lining possibilities all over the place. Those familiar shoulder looking parts there, a very cool part there for the front of the waist armor. And then you've got the face there. You've got a little bit of edging there if you want to put the black lining in there to go along with the gray V-fin. Nice details all around. The eye plate introduces a nice soft blue here, very different from the very vibrant blue that we had on the A and C plates. Here this is going to be for the Duel Gundam, and you can see that there's going to be a lot of parts here for the Assault Shroud, including a very cool looking hatch for the missiles to come out of the shoulders and pop off everybody not named Heavy Arms. More big blue parts here on the J for the Duel Gundam there. Lots of lining possibilities all over the place. You'll have to do a fair bit of edging work as well there. And you can see here that even you're going to have these little parts built into it. Pretty much just very, very detailed. And it's going to be a far cry from the 1/100th non-grade, that's for sure. K is for the Duel Gundam also, and you're going to have the beam rifle parts there. That great looking thing that's going to have the orange missiles inside. Adidas striping similar to the Vegan suits we've seen of late. And that's also going to apply to the back armor. Big honkin' pieces here for this extra bazooka that seems to be thrown in, and you're going to have some really cool looking carbines or whatever you want to call that. They actually have separation there between these parts in the middle, which is incredible to see. Other details to go along, you can put some clear parts in there, and you're going to have these old kind of throwable missiles, turn A style. Basically, lots of cool looking weapons included. Finally, the M plate is going to have a slightly different shade of gray here. It's a little bit more gunmetalish, which is going to look pretty cool when you see that in the front and on the waist sections. And again, you've got lots of lining possibilities. To go along with SB1 Saber ones, and you're going to have PC130 for the polycaps. For the seals, you've got a big set of eyes there and lots of camera lenses and things that are going to go on to all of those assorted weapons that you saw. And you can see some dry decals here with blue, red, white, everything looking very, very sharp if you want to Zaftify this guy up. These marking seals are looking very impressive as well. You can see some dark gray and light there to go along with the yellow, which can really add to the blue, I think. AA versus over there, and basically everything is looking sharp for fans of decals that really want to make this guy come to life. And finally to the manual, where you've got that fantastic looking cover art here just showing the Assault Shroud there, unlike the box. And here they're going to go into the anime, talk about the Gundam jacking and all the various suits there. It was a very cool scene to see them all in the hangar. I wonder if we knew back then how many times they were going to eventually face off. Table of contents showing you all the plates there. It's going to cost you 60 yen to replace missing pieces there. And as you move through and build up the arms, the head, the chest, the legs, you're going to get to more splash pages on the inside. This guy seems to be shown off in all of his forms, even more than almost any other Gundam here. I guess that's because of his dual forms, haha. But we've got the Duel there and the Assault Shroud, both of which are looking fantastic. This one doesn't look lined up, and it's still looking great. You can see that they're showing off the inner frame there with some blue on for the knees and some white for the waist sections. Some cool looking wires moving all over the place. They're going to talk about the anime again and the weapons, and then after you've built up the waist and all the weapons, the last thing you can do is put on the Assault Shroud and then decal them up, no color back there. And on the back, you're going to have a color guide for all four and showing you, well, front and back for the two of them. And now they're showing you that, yes, for $2 lining, you can make this guy look fantastic. Cool red jacket too, Isaac. This was a lot of fun for me to unbox just because you can tell that A, for the excitement for the whole Seed line that's going to be kicking off with this guy being the first, and overall just how much effort was put into those plates. There's details and lining all over the place. The colors look great. Small complex parts, so it's going to be a big far cry from the 1/100th. Can't wait to see how that's going to work out, and tons of very colorful decals if you want to put those all together. Basically, this guy looks great, but stay tuned for the next part where I'll be showing you, yes, the parts before you'll get to see the mobile suit all armed up. Anyway, everybody, why don't you let me know what you think with a comment down below, and as always, thanks for watching. See you next time. Oh my brother, you always were so full of anger.